Thanks for locking in with 77 Flavors of Chicago. We're your host, Dario.
And I'm Sarah, and I hope you're ready to learn with us.
Hey, yo! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Another dope episode. Today,
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Today, we are talking about Rosehill Cemetery. Yes.
Correct.
But before we get into it, how are y'all doing?
Amazing.
That's perfect. That's good.
So good.
Glad you're doing
I'm
well.
actually really hoping that you had a stress-free holiday.
Yeah.
If you celebrate, and you had to be around your toxic ass family.
Man, telling you how much bigger you look. You know what I mean? Like,
I hope you clap back.
you know, I'm all about that clap back there. If you're going to come at me, I'm coming at you.
I don't give a fuck.
Promise you. If I look big, you look bigger. Promise you that. I don't care.
I don't care.
Okay. Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah. No, hell no. But shout out to the air conditioner that just came on.
I don't think that's it.
It might not.
I was going to say hearable.
Hearable.
Audible,
yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. But how was your kickoff to the holiday
season?
Yeah.
Thanksgiving is like a mild one for me. It's usually just the two of us, so It's nothing crazy. I always cook everything.
Yeah.
But this year I decided I'm going to roast a chicken and order the sides. And then I'm going to make a couple salads and like stuff like that. So I ordered all of the traditional sides.
Yeah.
I spatchcocked a chicken for the first time.
I didn't even know what the hell that is.
It's basically breaking the rib cage so that the not rib cage, the rib bone, so that it can lay flat.
Okay.
And it was remarkable. I think it was one of the like my favorite ways to make a chicken because all of the skin was super crispy.
It was actually.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know, but I feel like the chicken was juicier also.
Well, do you remember a couple years ago I made one and I had it like in a wet brine for 2 days. It was very juicy, but the skin wasn't as crispy. This one was a dry brine, which means I put it in the fridge exposed with salt. So it sucked all the moisture out of it. The skin got really dry, so it made it really crispy. And it had maximum contact with the. I did it in a pan, so not a roasting pan. I did it in a stainless steel pan.
Yeah, we like maximum contact. we like that. That energy is good.
Anyway.
Anyway.
How's your
honestly
for the holiday season?
Honestly, this has been fantastic. This like holiday.
The Bears game.
Oh, this. You had to bring that up.
I had to.
Look, the Chicago Bears did something that they haven't done in my time as a Bears fan, 40 years. They fired a dude immediately after he made one of the biggest fuck ups in history of like football. This is dumb. It was dumb, but
it was very dumb.
The Bears took care of it because I crashed out.
You said move to Arlington Heights.
Go. You could go. Pack your bags. We don't need you here. But y'all kind of rectified it the very next day. Yeah.
Right now.
You know what I'm saying? They could just go. Very next day, they fixed it, though. So I'm not even mad at it as much. That's 4 games in a row we could have won. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But other than that, the holiday season is going well. It's all Christmas shopping. I've been doing that. Your boy's on top of it.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I know you can't. Because all your stuff came in like at once. Most of it. Still more to come.
Damn, really?
Hey, look,
Okay.
Boy, no expense spared. You know, Said if I got it, you got it. You know,
I love that.
You said that's the energy
for me. That's so nice for me.
Yeah,
experience.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. If you are on Instagram and you saw us posting these reels, this style of reel, how do you like it? Is this something that
do you enjoy it?
Because honestly, if you don't like it, we just gonna get better at doing it.
Yeah.
Because we have to. Y'all don't be acting like. What am I trying to say? You act like we don't have.
Here's the thing: the people that follow us on Instagram don't know that we also do a podcast. Even though, every time I post a video, I mention go listen to the new episode. I post in our story constantly. These motherfuckers don't pay attention. But,
every time.
And speaking of Instagram, every Tuesday we do a little hot take.
Yep.
Okay.
What's hot take this week? What's
hot take?
Couple.
All right. First one. Jordans are no longer a drip.
Nah, they tripping. Nice. Come on.
I picked that one because today.
That's look. Your boy. Look. Your boy is. Don't show the bottom. But your boy got the grays on, man. Grays with the red bread. So Jordan is always going to be drip.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's a style.
It's a cultural movement.
Absolutely. It defined our 90s. It defined our 2000s. It literally is a cultural thing. So it's always going to be there, especially for the old heads.
But I think there isn't the same hype around like new drops.
I mean, here's the thing, because all of us old.
but you still can go and buy like $300, $400, $500, $600 pairs of Jordans at like resellers because they have like the old hype still attached to them.
And I think people think that because you buying, you know what I mean, like it's the same thing, re-release. That's how dope the shoe is. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, there's certain shoes that got sentimental value with me. You know what I'm saying? Like the Breads, sentimental value. The ones I just got, the playoff 12s, just got them. Like those sentimental value.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people, but also, man, they look good.
They do.
They look, I will say this, here's a hot take for you. Jordans were not good to hoop in. I promise you that. If you ever had Jordans, I don't know how he balled out in Jordans. Like to do what he did, I'm convinced he had different versions of the same shoe.
He had to have some cushion.
Because the 11s are my favorite, right? They're my favorite. The most uncomfortable ones.
Yeah.
Like most uncomfortable. These the ones actually pretty comfortable.
They're fine, but like I can't imagine running in them.
Running, sidestepping, like hell no. Your foot gonna slide through. So he had to have something different than we did.
Yeah.
But that's my hot take on those.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right, second hot take. You're not really for Chicago if you don't go past downtown. South or downtown. You're not really a true like if you say Chicago's the best city and you've never been past downtown, you're not really an avid Chicagoan. Yeah.
I kind of agree with that, but like, who am I to tell you what you, because you can have different experiences on all sides of the city.
60% of the city is south of downtown.
Yeah. A lot of the city is out downtown. Honestly, you not only do we got to question your Chicago card, but like you might be a hater.
Probably, definitely.
You might be a hater if you don't go south or downtown.
That means you've never eaten at Virtue.
Boy, that's true. You never been south of downtown.
You've never seen a South Side beach?
Man, do you know? Yeah, Rainbow Beach, Oak Street. All of them. Not Oak Street. Oak Beach. Oak Beach. You know what I mean? Like that. Like honestly, Hyde Park.
Can you imagine?
I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine not knowing that stuff existed or not seeing it, because you probably know.
Even places like the closer ones, like Bridgeview, you've never.
Yeah.
I mean, not Bridgeview. Bridgeport.
Bridgeport, yeah. And Bridgeport is Ramova. You never been there? I mean, that's newer. So you might not have been, but
you should though.
You should. You know what I mean? You definitely should. There's a lot. Man, look, if you haven't gone south of downtown,
I implore you.
Because here's the thing: the inverse is not true. If you haven't gone north, well, maybe it's an A-B situation. If you haven't gone north of downtown,
that's also, I think, kind of fair.
It's kind of fair, but also we know there's a situation as to why you haven't gone. You know what I mean? Like, but this is not the episode for it. But we can have that conversation.
I mean, if we're just being logical and assuming that most people use public transit because they live in an urban city, if you are going from south to north, it is extremely difficult.
Yeah, it's tough.
And if you're going north to south, it's also extremely difficult because transit system doesn't translate. If you're driving, it's also like pretty far of a drive.
Yeah. That's how big Chicago is.
Yeah. But also the ability of having the leisure time to travel that far just for fun has to be supported by income. You don't have to worry about working a second and third shift.
Hold on.
You don't have
That's a low coin. It is.
You don't have to worry about working overtime. You don't have to worry about feeding your children. You don't have to worry about your 10-year-old car breaking down.
Talk to him.
If we're looking at who has more time / the luxury to travel,
it's different out here. That's okay.
That's what I'm going to say. I think it's evident. I don't need to say anymore.
Okay. There you have it.
Well, let's get into today's episode, y'all.
Yeah, buddy. We're going to talk about Rosehill Cemetery. We're going to break this down in a few different parts. Rosehill Cemetery. If you don't know about the cemetery up north, speaking of which, it's in Lincoln Square. Lincoln Square is where it's located. And this is Chicago's largest cemetery.
Correct.
And I'm stressing that because I feel like a lot of people know Graceland Cemetery.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people think Graceland is
the largest. Yeah, I think so. But like, you hear about that so many times. It's in movies. It's in just regular conversation. A lot of people live in that area. So easy to kind of slide by. But yeah, Rosehill Cemetery, Chicago's largest, 350 acres, y'all, of land out there, man. It was started in 1859.
February 11th.
February 11th. You rack them up today. You reckon them up. And you know what it is? It's easy for me to just rock with this button now. See, at the desk, at home, I had to reach across, had to lean. It took me out of position. This right here, I can reach everything.
If you didn't listen to last week's episodes, we are recording in our new studio. So the setup is a little different, obviously.
I feel like we've been slacking on the coins too lately because of that.
Well, you used to be very generous.
Coin heavy. Look at me today. I'm already 4 in. What? You know what I'm saying? 5 in.
Yeah, but they don't mean anything if you keep.
They do mean anything. No, you was meaningful.
But if
you said I took the volume down. I took the volume value. I took the value. I blacked out for a second.
Okay, all right.
Well, I gotta get that checked out. Anyway, started in 1859, and Chicago's largest cemetery. Now, there's a funny, weird history about the name Rosehill. Mm-hmm. Now, Rosehill is spelled Rosehill, and the history is kind of something of legend, okay? Because it's not really confirmed,
right? Not
really denied either. Mm. So the story goes, there was where it's located was a nice prairie land, and in Lincoln Square in that area, kind of like northwest, they did, there's a lot of gardening, right? A lot of, flowers being made, a lot of things like that, right? And Rosehill Cemetery, I should also say, is a garden cemetery. So very pretty in the times where flowers grow and things like that. So there was this guy, farmer Hiram Rowe, R-O-E, Hiram R-O-E, Rowe. It was his land where the city wanted to build this cemetery. And so they tried to get him to, say, hey, look, let me buy this land off of you. He said, I'm not going. I don't want to do that, And the city said, hey, look, we'll strike a deal with you. And he said, all right, let me hear it. Blah, blah, blah. He said, as long as you promise me that you're going to use my name as dedication to this land. So the city said, yeah, we promise you. Probably like that. Probably like that. Yeah, got you, big dog. They probably hit him with one of them. And so when it went to the city clerk, and this is where the legend comes in. This whole thing is legend at this point. Apparently, when she wrote down Rosehill, she wrote R-O-S-E because she thought they meant this was Rose Hill. And so...
Not R-O-E.
Not Rose, not Hiram Rose, like apostrophe S. She thought, or I don't want to say she, you know what I mean? I don't want to do that. But they thought Rose, R-O-S-E Hill. And so there's a legend.
Yeah, I bet your woman didn't work back then, so it definitely wasn't a woman.
Definitely not about to catch me up on that.
A woman?
Yeah.
No.
Not in this position. Got
jail.
Me.
You trying to work?
Yeah. No, you got me messed up. But so that's the legend.
And what's interesting about that is that I did read an article while we were doing research that said there was no Hiram Rowe. There's no city record of him existing as a farmer in that area. And there was a guy that was close by, but the closest one was he was in Michigan. So
that's far.
He's kind of far.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. There's no record of him owning that land. There's also another one that says Rose Hill. Rose translates to King's Hill, and so they're thinking that's maybe where the name came from. So there is no confirmed story as to where the name comes from, but these are all little interesting legends.
And Chicago was like, nah. We keep the records here, big dog. They probably went back to their little meeting. Was like, you hear this dude?
Tear up his shit.
He said, you better promise me that you're going to.
Yeah.
I'm in Chicago. That was the first use of. This is Chicago.
And what's crazy is that this is before the fire. So if the records did exist, they probably burned.
So this is maybe this is a thing we should research. Hiram Rowe.
I'm telling you, like I guess,
Yeah. I mean, Newberry Library is out here. We could probably search some papers. Ooh, that's gonna be a tough one to search.
Hard. You know, the 50s. And
the 50s is
probably even before that they started having this conversation with him. If that ever happened, I mean, it had to be after. Well, at this time, it wasn't even the city of Chicago.
Yes, it was 1859.
No. But what I'm saying is, like, the people that bought it wasn't the city of Chicago. This was Lincoln.
Oh, that's right.
It was Lincoln Square.
Yeah.
Township.
Yeah.
And
was it Jefferson Township?
No, it was part of Lincoln Township, and not Lincoln Square, Lincoln Township. And the actual name of the area that was in, which is what I found while I was doing a little bit of research, which was really interesting. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Chittenden. Chittenden.
What is it?
I don't know. How do you say it?
I don't know.
I don't know. It was a town. It was a town, and it was 6.5 miles north of the Chicago border. So it wasn't technically in Chicago, but pretty close. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know where the records would have ended up. I mean, because eventually this was annexed, but I don't know.
A while later, I believe.
Yeah.
We were 29, almost 30 years later, it was annexed. Right. Almost 30 years later.
Which puts it around the time of the Chicago Fire, possibly.
After. I mean, that's after. 1889 is when all the shit was annexed. But yeah, so that's a brief name of it. But it's actually got a lot of cool things inside this, cemetery.
Yeah.
Should
we start with the opening day and then go chronologically with when things were added?
Yeah, I was going to lead into it with kind of like speaking of opening, the entranceway. Because the entranceway is kind of like one of the first things that is a bit of tangible history. Mm-hmm. So if you ever go to Rosehill Cemetery, you'll notice that there's a large gate, right? Castle-like gate. The gate opened in 1864 by William H. Boyington, and he, if you don't know who he is, most people don't, but he was also the guy who created the water tower. And if you look at it, this thing looks almost identical in look, right? Like
style,
right? Limestone brick, Joliet limestone brick, which we heard about Joliet limestone brick
when we did when we went out to Joliet.
Yeah, well, we doing an episode. The next episode after this is with Thornton.
Yeah,
he said something that was interesting about.
Well, the well is
and you would think
limestone.
Yes, but he would think that it came from Joliet or something like that. He said it didn't, or something to that name.
Right.
Which kind of threw me off for a loop.
He said it's called Joliet limestone, but it's not from Joliet.
Exactly.
It's
so
from
that's
Thornton.
I can't wait to hear more about that.
Quarry. It's there.
But yeah, anyway, it looks just like it is what I'm trying to say. It's a castle. It's got a bunch of the piers, right? It actually looks more like the Chicago Waterworks other half across the street from the Chicago Water Tower, because that is
that's
a building.
A museum now, right?
No, it's still a pumping station. Oh, it's still a pumping station.
I think it has a museum inside.
It's got. So I went in there, and you really can't go in there. One of the workers let me go up in there. It ain't no museum in there. What they have in there, as soon as you walk in, there's like as soon as you walk in, both sides of the wall, that entranceway right there got old pictures of what used to be Chicago in that area and working. So they got the pictures of what they used to be. But when you walk in, you walk right in to the water pumps right there. Like, it's stories. It looked like if I had to, because I was like so nervous, he wasn't supposed to let me in. He let me in real quick. It was early in the morning, like before 9 o'clock.
Damn.
He let me in. I think it might have been right around 8 o'clock. I was down there. And he let me in, and I was just like, I had my camera. I didn't want to do too much, but like the shots I got is trash because I was nervous. But like looking down, it looked like I saw the water pumps. I saw people working. I asked them, "This still working?"
Looks like a factory, kind of.
Yeah, it does. But it like looks so deep. Like it looked deep. All you saw was pumping stations, like the pumping station. And if you don't know the history of that served as literally the pumping station for Chicago, where they pump the water.
I mean, it still does, no? It's
for that area, because there's different pumping stations now, but or for the most part, right? But yeah, so I was like, dude, like this is actually look crazy. Anyway, sidebar, I don't know how I got on, but it looks more like that building, the pumping station, than it does the water tower.
Right.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah, it's definitely like you can immediately tell.
Yeah, you can easily tell. Like easily tell. Even if you didn't know the history, you easily tell.
Right.
But now the first day though of everybody using it, not using
Not
that,
using
but like
it. Just like coming to see what it is. So it was July 28th, 1859. They say there was about 8,000 people that showed up, and they basically just had a big ass picnic.
I wonder how many graves?
0.
There were no grave.
Nothing had been done with it yet.
I guess it's opening day.
It was just like opening day, like, hey, come see this new site, kind of thing.
So, okay. So what you do then?
It was on the Chicago and Milwaukee Railroad, and the station was right across the street from the cemetery. That's where everyone came in from. And the trains ran for free, and each train had 20 cars, and they were all full. It ran all day. It started at 10 a.m. And they say it was about 8,000 people.
So the trains was running all day.
That specific line.
Just going back and forth.
Yep.
That's crazy.
They brought people in from Evanston. They brought people in from.
How long did it take to get everybody? So it was like, was they going in shifts? Like what?
Yeah. It would drop people off, and then it would go back, pick up some more people, drop people off.
And then those people get back on to go home?
Eventually, yeah.
Dang, that's crazy. What? Wow. Could you imagine a process like that now where like it's only one train doing that?
No, I think they had multiple trains.
Damn.
Yeah.
It was complicated back then because like you running on one track. Was it 2 tracks? How many tracks was it?
So it's 2 tracks. It's the Chicago and Milwaukee.
Damn. So it was like it was busy.
Very.
If you missed your train at the end of the day, it was over for you.
Probably.
Damn.
Ain't no cars.
So you was picnicking like what? Wow.
There's no cars at this point.
Yeah, I know.
You don't make it back to Evanston on that train.
Well, so what? Damn.
You gotta walk.
Damn.
Or take a buggy.
Damn, and it'd take forever.
Forever.
I mean, I guess you kind of close.
I mean,
on a buggy,
it takes
probably wasn't that much traffic.
A day to get to Evanston on a horse.
From that point,
on a horse.
I mean, it could have been a strong horse. Could have been a Secretariat.
But it's not about to run for the whole time.
Shit.
No.
If I'm trying to get home, boy.
No. But speaking of that area, so the area, like you said, around it was a prairie. But what made that land specifically, why they were interested in making that land the cemetery, is because it was about 17 to 20 feet higher than the prairie around it, and the land was different. So everything was marshy, wet, and that hill, that Rosehill, was yellow soil, and so it was easier to dig, obviously, and there were already oak trees growing in that area, and so it just felt like the right spot on the top of the hill to put that cemetery there.
That's a crazy thought process. That's a crazy thought process.
Because you can't bury people in marshy land.
True.
That's not good.
I mean, that part is not the crazy part, but like think about like the intentionality of it. Like, so let's dig up all these people from.
They moved some people from Lincoln Park.
I know. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is like that's crazy.
Well, they had to because the city started to grow. And
so do they? They should have a section for the Lincoln Park people. That's a good call.
So I want to say that the cemetery started from the inside out. Like they started from the center and started.
It seemed like it going out. There, yeah.
Specifically because there's the chapel in the center of the cemetery that was kind of like blessed by the Masonic fraternity. On opening day, they were part of the people that came down on the train. And they all kind of stood around the area that was chosen to be the side of the chapel. They held hands, they said a prayer, they laid down the first cornerstone, and it's etched that says, this stone here was laid down by the Masonic fraternity, July 28th, 1859. They poured oil on it, they poured wine, and they said a little prayer.
One time for the homies.
One time for the homies.
One time for the soon to be. They poured one out,
yeah. So that area... I'm assuming is where they started burying, probably from that chapel.
That's a good. I mean, that wouldn't be too hard to do some research.
Yeah.
Because you just look at who died and who
well,
was around there.
I did find some maps of early cemetery to see like who was placed in what spot, but I didn't look. They're very old maps, and it's like a digital map of it. So you couldn't really tell, but you can kind of see where they started.
So it was center. Ish.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, who is buried there? Well, we got a list. I got a list of some pretty dope names that are buried there, which, I mean, this is a crazy list. So first and foremost, this also has a lot of war vets and a lot of Civil War vets and people there, right? So that's right when you go in the entrance, that's right up front. Right up front, they got it all right there for you to see in a whole like little section there, large section. So those people are buried there, as well as several Chicago mayors. And I paraphrased of that because there's a lot of Chicago mayors that are buried there. I want to say like just 7 that I read, like 5 or 7 off the rip, right? Mm-hmm. But not that these people are more important, but some of the names that are buried here, because again, Graceland Cemetery get a rep for like having them bodies.
Stop it.
No, but these got some people, got some names in it. So here we go. Max Adler, founder of the Adler Planetarium. William Boynton, the guy who created the gate and the water tower. Jack Brickhouse, which is, if you are a Cubs fan, Sox fan, baseball fan, Hall of Fame commentator, announcer, Charles Dawes. Now, this one was one cool because we were right by, I think his grave is right by the church that we went to then the center. The reason why we think so is because, I mean, it says Dawes and it's got a couple American flags in front of it. Yeah. Reason why that's significant is he was the 30th vice president of the United States. And if you remember our episode on Daniel Burnham up in Evanston, we went to his home.
Charles Dawes'
home.
Yeah.
And so really dope to see all that. And then we visit him at his resting place. Milton S. Florsheim, go check out our reel. The guy who invented a new way to experience shoes all together, top to bottom, like the way you shop and the way you fit it. You get fitted. Yeah. Pretty dope. John D. Hertz, the founder of Hertz. Ida Sophia Hippak. That
kicked your ass.
It took me. A Titanic survivor.
Oh.
Yeah, Titanic survivor. John H. Kedzie Avenue, Kedzie Street. Oscar Mayer, like the Wieners.
The Wieners.
Yeah, balls. Sears, Richard Sears, founder of Sears. Julius Rosenwald, founder of Museum of Science and Industry. Ignis Schwinn.
What the hell's going on?
I don't even know. Founder of Schwinn Bicycle. Harry Windsor, founder of Popular Mechanic Magazine. If anybody is a car enthusiast and you've been to a dentist's office, those magazines are everywhere.
Yeah.
John G. Shedd, another museum campus guy. That's three folks from the museum.
Yeah.
3 of the Chicago's biggest museums.
It's crazy.
It's right there. And then this last one, I saved this one. I'm not saying it's the best, but very interesting. Eliza Emily Porter, or Eliza Chapel Porter. She's buried there along with all her family, most of her family.
Family.
That is Chicago's first ever public school teacher.
That's wild.
Unbelievable.
There's a plaque on her grave
right on
too
it.
that says
historic plaque. Yep.
Says her name.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
That is absolutely crazy.
The guy that started Montgomery Ward, I feel like a lot of the department store moguls are buried there. Florsheim,
Sears, him. Yeah, that's wild. Now there's one more thing.
There's the mausoleum, which I thought was really cool that it's the largest mausoleum in Chicago, in the largest cemetery in Chicago. I feel like those two facts are cool. It is 2 floors, and the first floor is the basement, so it's not like 2 floors, 2 stories. It's a first floor and a basement. It's almost entirely made out of marble. Most of it is Italian marble, and it was built in 1914, so it's pretty, in comparison with the rest of the cemetery, it's pretty recent. And what's cool about it is that some of the rooms inside for the families that are buried in the mausoleum have Tiffany glass that was like designed by Tiffany to be on the inside of the in the mausoleum, which is really interesting.
Yeah, it is massive. Like when you go to it.
So it's been expanded many times over the years. It started small and it just keeps growing and keeps getting upgraded. I think the most recent upgrade was 1977, if I remember correctly. But now it's huge. But that's not the original size. It wasn't built that big in 1914.
Now it's that big.
Yeah.
No, not this
Not
episode.
today.
No, not today. We
Not today.
play coins is all we get.
Well, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah, I give you a coin for that
That's
one.
all I got.
That's all you got? That's all I got too. Ready?
All right, well, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone you love and let them know what we're doing out here because it was 20 degrees today. So I'm going to need extra support on this one. If you did not like this episode, that's totally fine. Check back Thursday for a rerun or next Monday for a brand new episode. See you then. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and we hope you loved it.
And if you could, please follow us on social media at 77 Flavors Shy on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter.
If you have any ideas or deep dives that you'd love us to do, please contact us at media@77flavorsshy. That's the number 77 flavors and shy for Chicago.com.
If you like visuals, please subscribe and follow and watch us on our YouTube channel at the same thing, 77 Flavors Shy, or search 77 Flavors of Chicago.
If you would like to support us monetarily, go ahead and click that Buzzsprout link in the description of this episode.
And as always, we gonna see you next week. Peace.